Hi, everyone. A very warm welcome to this session of Let Us Talk It webinar. We rather like to call it a zipinar for the simple reason that we try to give to our audience, to our attendees, as much as we can. How? That we try to make it a 1 hour worthwhile spending with us, giving you different topics, different speakers on different topics, and which are very relevant in these days. And we try to put in motivational, inspirational, technological, health, anything and everything under the big blue sky. But to make it a success, we need your cooperation as well. That's by attending these webinars, giving your feedback, giving your comments on social media. We go live on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And if you have any suggestions, or if you want to be a speaker in these webinars or zipinars, as we call them, then please do comment us or let us know by emailing us at webinar@letustalkit.com. And we don't stop it here with all the people that join as professionals talking about work and life. We want to also make the future more empowered and enhanced. And how do we do that? We do it by empowering our youth. Empowering our youth in a simple way that we can is just trying to make them aware of some topics which is worth to think. Different topics ranging from famous people, from inventions, from moral values, anything and everything that our youth want to discuss. And to do that, we do our proper prep sessions, and we have divided our youth into two groups, a younger youth group from 6 years to 11, and the older youth group from 12 years onwards. And they have their proper prep sessions, and then they go live on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. How we go live? Just similar to this, alternate Fridays for the younger group and on Saturdays for the older youth group. For this Saturday, for the older youth group, they will be talking about natural forces, disasters. So that's how we try to give back to the community. And if you have any question or you have a kid that you want to join them, please do email us at webinar@letustalkit.com. So having said that, we welcome you once again to this session of our Zipinar, professional Zipinar, where we have professionals who have taken out their time and have put in effort to come in front of you and share their experience. If you gain from anything from them, please do share your comments and feedback, as I told earlier. And today's topic, first topic would be introducing CORPS as CORPS, the 5 pillars for a robust cloud architecture framework. And to give this presentation, we have with us Muthukumaran Devadas, and he is a blogger, software and mobile application architect. And he was not very keen on giving any more introduction about himself and being forced. That's what I got from LinkedIn. He is a dynamic, accomplished software architect with 16 years of experience in designing and implementing enterprise and cloud native applications in Azure, along with hands-on experience in .NET Core, Kubernetes, and Azure DevOps. So that's a lot to begin with, and we hope that you will enjoy our session with Muthu. Over to you, Muthu. Absolute pleasure to have you, and we welcome you to the session.
Hey, thank you very much. Let me start sharing my screen first. Okay. First, a few words about myself. My name is Muthu, and I am working as an architect in a healthcare industry. I have a huge passion about the technology. So I always go after all the shining objects that are out there in the technology world, be it like front end, back end, mobile application. I'd like to call myself as a tech savvy person that trying to explore and trying to implement every new technology that comes out there. Also, I'm a vivid reader about the technology. I follow lot of tech feeds, try to get myself up to date. because in the technical field, we had to keep ourselves up to date and keep our heads high to understand and know all the important things that's happening out there. By saying that, I'm here to present you about one of the most important pillars, important topics about the cloud. So in the cloud, I know we are moving very fast, right? I know like everyone is talking about, okay, AWS, Amazon Web Services, Azure, Google Cloud, IBM Cloud. Everyone is talking about different things about, cloud. But what exactly is that? What is that? So why, like, we know like, okay, cloud means it's a set of computers that is owned by like servers and owned by someone else. We just taking a lease and start deploying our software solutions in the cloud. Okay, which is good. But give me a second. I'm just trying to, yeah. So by, it's someone else's computer. Cloud is nothing but like someone else's computer. But when we begin our journey towards cloud, we are always unsure about our solution. Are we choosing the right technology? Are we choosing the right network? Are we choosing the right configuration for our computer, like servers? Are we choosing the, like everyone is talking about cloud native technology. What is cloud native technology? We keep on doubting ourselves, which is for a good reason, because it is new. That's why companies like Amazon Web Services, Microsoft, and Google, they come up with something called pillars of web technologies, like pillars of cloud technologies. Generally, they call it as a well-architected framework, which gives a set of guidelines for us to follow and revalidate our solutions in the cloud. So before getting started, I'd like to give this introduction because it gives us some level of heads up about what I'm going to talk about. Because first thing, you have to know what is cloud. Then we have to move on like how I'm going to implement my solution so efficiently so that it supports my business needs. Okay, now move on to what is COPS. Okay, that's what I was talking about. Many organizations struggle with validating their approach to the cloud. And since this is like a very new technology, we don't have a lot of documentation out there. So like Azure or Amazon, they have given us a COPS. Okay, what is COPS? Cost optimization, operational excellence, reliability, performance efficiency, security. So this is called COPS. So I have placed cost optimization in the center because if we do the right thing in the operational excellence and the reliability, performance, security, we'll be saving a cost. That's a very, very important thing. Because why it is very important? Say, example, okay. We have a dev test workload that we have deployed as a simple proof of concept to measure the feasibility of Azure. Okay. Now, we have initially, we have a separate team in the enterprise. We have a separate security team, we have a cost team who manages budgets, etc., right? So how we are going to be sure about that my proof of concept is very valid in terms of security, in terms of cost, in terms of performance, in terms of reliability? How we know that, how we should, first we have to know we are asking the right questions, and we have to know what are the metrics that are available, and we have to interpret it in right way so that we can do our job very well. Because now, being a cloud native developers, we cannot just do the development and deploy our code. We have to consider all these aspects of the cloud. That's why this is like a 5 pillars. So before getting into any development, we have to be very, very thorough about these pillars so that when we do our work, we can consider all these aspects. So as I was talking about, cost optimization is very, very important aspect in the cloud. Okay, why it is very important? In the old time, not in the old time, like still there are companies out there not using the potential of the cloud, right? So still, like when we buy a server on our own and put it on our data center, it means that that account that gets accounted in our capital expenses, and over a period of time it gets deprecated, but it takes time to get deprecated. But when the organization adopts the cloud platform, it will be part of the operational expenses. That's very, very important. It's part of the operational expenses, and those operational expenses gets reflected in the balance sheet every year. So it's kind of, like leasing. Like I lease a building for my business, so it's a part of my operational expenses. So it is an expense, non-recoverable expense. Okay, same thing with cloud. I'm going to lease the servers. I'm going to lease the service from someone else, like Azure or Amazon Web Services. So it goes under operational expenses, and it's going to be like a huge impact. Okay, so how we can do that? First thing, plan and estimate the cost. So estimation is very, very important aspect here. So say I wanted to move my application to the cloud. So what are the questions I can ask? Okay, can we move the existing application as it is? Do we need to make changes to application to support cloud migration? Because if we need to make changes, it is going to be additional cost. Do we have a required skill set? Okay, I'm a .NET developer or a Java developer. Can I just go and apply the code in the cloud? No, right? Because we may need a support from someone who knows cloud very well. So we have to ask the right questions and estimate the efforts correctly, because it's going to have a huge impact in the cost estimation. Okay. Then another important question, like a provision with optimization. What is provision with optimization? So what we have to is, like, when we have deployed a service, okay, I decided I deployed the code, I put it on the cloud. So how can I optimize the thing? We have to regularly review to see if the expense are appropriate for the resource requirements. How can I say that? Say, for example, there are two concepts out there. I just don't want to get deep into that, but I just want to say, like, we have a platform as a service and infrastructure as a service. So if you use a platform as a service, it's going to reduce a lot of operational costs. So what is the operational cost that gets involved in the platform as a, like in the regular? Okay, I own my own server, and I have to hire a person who knows to maintain those servers. And it's a Linux machine. There is a security threat, so we have to patch it. So we have like say we have a 50 servers, and at least I need like a 5 to 10 person who actively maintains the integrity of such a network of computers. But in the cloud, especially if you are going as a platform as a service, like the service provider, the cloud provider, Microsoft or AWS, they will be taking care of all those maintenance. They will patch it. They will make sure it is secure. This goes hand by hand. They will be taking care of all the patching. So it is going to reduce a lot of operational costs. In other words, if you choose to, like, okay, give me a server, but you don't do anything, I will manage my server. It is called like infrastructure as a service. So in that case, we have to maintain the patching, upgrading activities ourselves. It is going to cost more. So choose between, when you have to choose between platform as a service or infrastructure as a service, I would recommend to go with a platform as a service, so that we can focus on our application development rather than maintaining those servers. This is particularly very helpful for the startups because they don't have a lot of money and they don't have a lot of resources to work with it. Next one, maximize efficiency of the cloud spend. What do you mean by that, right? So it's in my company, okay, in XYZ company, it's very common practice, even for like a small web API, they just request for, hey, can I get a 8 GB RAM, 2 cores, etc., etc. But if you look at carefully, that service is going to run or in a peak hour, like maybe like 1 or 2 hours per day. That's it. And the amount of work that service is doing is very, very less. In those scenarios, like why we have to like allocate 8 GB dedicated RAM and CPU, and which runs only like 1 or 2 hours per day and sits like 22 hours idle. Okay, we cannot approach cloud with the same mindset because every minute, every second counts in the cloud. So you have to make sure what your application requires, because most of the APIs may require like a 512 megabytes of RAM. That's it. So you have to be very, very sure to estimate your hardware correctly. Okay. Then we have to identify and eliminate the costs. How I can do that? Okay. Like I said, there is a server that sits idle most of the times. We have to find a way to optimize that. How can we share those servers with other applications? That's one of the important daily. It's going to save like at least like $100 to $200 per month for a business. Then, say for example, licensing cost. When you are using a cloud service, most of the time it comes with a default license. You don't have to purchase that. But sometimes we just purchase license and we forget. So we have to review those like more often and eliminate those additional licensing costs. And the storage is cheap, but in the cloud, there is a way to make it cheaper. So if your data is not required, like if the data is not required more often or getting access more often, we can move those data to an infrequently accessed storage, which is very, very cheaper. So that's one of the way to eliminate the cost. And unnecessary build environments. It's very, very common in an in-house data center to have like 5 different environments. Okay. Like I need a dev, I need a testing, I need a pre-prod, I need a sit, I need a prod, like 5 environments. We absolutely cannot have that many environments in the cloud. If you need a environment to test, spin it off, test, shut it down. Spin it off, test, shut it down. That's how it should be working. This is some of the ways to save cost in the cloud. So when you are starting your development, or when you have started your like cloud journey, this is one of the most important fact you have to consider. I think we are running out of time, so let me go a bit faster. Second one, operational excellence. Operational excellence is very, very important. What is operational excellence? Okay, like I said, how quickly we can spin up the environment and bring it operational. Okay. So in general, right? So in a regular world, we have a team. Okay, I need a server. Then we go back to some other team. Hey, could you please install these applications in there, like a Linux administrator? We ask them, they do that. Then go to firewall team. Then they will open up the firewall. Then we go to a database team. So it takes a lot of steps, right? So how can we make it easier? So create it as an infrastructure as a code. Okay, we have a lot of ways to automate these steps. Okay, we can just open up a YAML file. We can say, okay, hey, I need this server. I need this software in that machine. And I need this firewalls needs to be opened. And I need this database needs to be created. And take this backup and restore in that database. We can automate all those complete steps. And someone needs an environment, spin it off. It is available quickly within 5 to 10 minutes. That is very easy. It saves a lot of money because we don't have a human resource. Except one person just clicks a button there. That's a huge benefit. It is something like we have to consider, because most of the companies, they are thinking cloud. They are coming with the same mindset with the internal data center mindset and doing everything manually in the cloud as well. No, you don't have to do that. We can automate everything, and we have plenty of options available. And all the cloud providers supports automation of these kind of repeated steps, which is called like infrastructure as a code. And because right, like human is the very costliest expense in this workflow, because we are talking about like 6 different people working on setting this environment up and running. By automating, we can eliminate all those costs. Okay, then testing. So we can testing how it can save the cost, or you don't understand, right? Yes, testing. If say you have identified a potential performance issue, potential security issue, like a potential threshold bottleneck in the test region, you don't have to suffer on the production. So it is going to be very important step. So I would say like testing is one of the important aspect of the operational excellence. Next one, performance efficiency. This is the third pillar, right? This is one of my favorite topic, because I feel myself like I'm good at optimizing performance. So let's give me an example. Start with an example. Okay, you are working for Apple, and tomorrow is new iPhone 13 release. So what happens behind the scene? Why Apple takes down their website before releasing their phones? Okay, influx of the traffic will be high on the day of release, but are we going to get the same traffic every day? No, right? How we are going to manage that? How we are going to design a system that is going to help us to do this right? Okay, so we have an option for this as well, like scale up, scale out. What is scale up and what is scale out? Scale up means just increasing a RAM or CPU or a storage within a single machine. We have one machine and we are just improving the CPU performance, migrate from like a single core to dual core or a 4 cores, and increasing the RAM to like a 16 GB to 32 GB, etc., etc. That is called scale up. And scale out. Scale out means adding a multiple computers to the network. Instead of like one computer handles all those traffic, add multiple computers so that the traffic can be balanced and distributed evenly to all the computers. And it comes with, obviously, it comes with complexity. We have to include a software or hardware-based load balancer to support this architecture. I know, oh, additional cost? Yes, additional cost. But look at this way. Even if one computer goes down, we have 9 other computers to support the load while our team is working on to fix the issue. We have 9 computers that supports the network without any disruption. So it's a huge performance efficient, right? Next one, auto scaling. Auto scaling is very popular in the cloud. So what is auto scaling? This auto scaling helps you to answer the question that I asked you in the beginning. The traffic will be high on the day of release, but we are not going to get the same level of traffic every day, right? So in the Thanksgiving, the traffic will be high, but normal Monday, there will be very minimal traffic. So that's when this auto scaling comes into the picture. So it dynamically helps you to allocate resources based on the demand. Okay, Thanksgiving, I need 50 virtual machines that needs to support order processing. But it's a regular Monday, yet another Monday. I don't need like 50 machines. Maybe one or two should be more than enough, right? So that's what this auto scaling is helping us. The next one, optimizing the network performance. So another example, consider Amazon Prime Day. Okay, last Prime Day, Amazon has processed 20 million transactions in a day. How we are going to handle this much volume? With like whenever there is a order, right? Our backend has to process that order efficiently. But can it handle this much workflow? That's why we just put like a messaging queue mechanism in front of our APIs, so that we don't care, like whatever the order that comes in, that gets queued in our like a Kafka, it gets queued. Then the backend, what period of time it picks up the data and process. So that's how we optimize the network performance without worrying about missing the orders. Then optimizing the storage performance, right? So we can have like an efficient cache. You can cache the data so that gets served immediately to the user faster. And we can partition the storage so that we can immediately go and get the data, whatever we need immediately. And finally, we have to identify the performance bottlenecks in the application. That's how the testing also comes very, very important. So it's not only on the server side, our application may also should be capable of handling that much traffic. And sometimes like poor memory allocation handling in our application may cause the disruption, or we don't have a right index at the database. It's going to slow the application very much. So we have to identify which layer of our application is causes the slowness. The next one is a reliability, right? So when we are like, say for example, another example, because it makes easy to explain. So in healthcare organization, right? The clinician, like us, I'm working on the healthcare, so it's my favorite example. So like a clinical guys and the caregivers, they cannot afford to take an outage. So there is a little tolerance of the downtime there. Like e-commerce, imagine a downtime during a Thanksgiving sale. We are going to lose thousands of dollars every minute. So when we are designing a system, we should account for a reliability as well. Okay, so how much commitment we are going to make it to the customer? That's very, very important. Anything can go down, like a hard drive can fail, bad deployment, data center goes down. Anything can happen in this world. So how we are going to design, say for example, we have a multiple servers, like how we can design a highly available systems, right? So we can use Kubernetes, because Kubernetes can help us to maintain our target goal. Say for example, I need at any given point of time, I need 3 pods needs to be alive and support the application. And one goes down, Kubernetes detects and automatically brings another pod alive, so that there will not be any disruptions. And also we can have a multiple systems, and we can have a load balancers that actively detects the downtime and redirect the traffic to all the active systems rather than the failed systems. So reliability, so I know, right? So reliability is very, very, so reliability is very, very important aspect, because that is going to help us to boost our business in the future. And fifth and final final pillar Again, I know all the other 4 pillars, it's something like us over a period of time, we get used to it. You know, at the time of designing our solutions, we get used to it. But sometimes, or most of the times, we don't consider security until the day we go live. But security is very, very important, especially if you're working on the healthcare or if you're working on the financial institutions. Security is the first thing that comes into the picture. So we have these many layers. We have a physical security, policies and access, perimeter, networking, VM, applications, data. We have these many layers. There is a risk of getting exposed in every layer here. Let me quickly go through this, then I will wrap it up. So like data layer, right? So if you don't have a right encryption, someone should easily get access to our data, right? So we call it as encryption at rest. Not only when transmitting data from user computer to the server, it gets encrypted using SSL. But also when we are storing the data in the server, that time also we have to encrypt the data. That is called encryption at rest. So we have to use the strong encryption key so that even if someone gets access to the data, they don't know what they are looking at. The next one, application layer. Like application layer has a lot of weak points, cross-site scripting or a SQL injection, etc., etc. So we have to be very careful about application layer as well. Like a VM layer, like a computer, right? So there are a lot of chances like we install some open source software and some malware gets installed in the system. So we have to be very conscious about that as well. Like a networking layer. So unnecessarily, like say for example, very common practice is like opening the SSH port 21 and which gets exposed and they get access to all the information that is available in the server. So we have to be very careful about what ports we are opening and how it is working. Okay. Then perimeter layer, perimeter layer means fortunately, this is handled by our cloud providers itself, like a denial of service, like hit the same server, hit the same endpoint again and again, so that no other can access to that particular endpoint. But our cloud providers are providing services to detect this and disable that IP address that posts all those requests. So that is one of the very important aspect as well. And policies and access layer. Okay, how I'm going to access the data. Probably like every one of us are annoyed of the frequent password changes, but it is very important, right? Because if you have an easily guessable password, then you are exposing not only your data, your entire company to the outside world. That is why we have like a two-factor authentication system, and we have a complex password requirement, etc., etc. So that is very, very important aspect as well. Then finally, I'm done with my presentation with 5 pillars. Any questions? I know I kind of rushed through towards the end, but I'd like to give a chance to my fellow talker as well. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Yeah, thank you, Muthu. I mean, the word cloud puts us in a cloud situation, so everyone is aware of it. So, any questions from anyone?
No, that's a great presentation. Thank you very much. For the great insights.
Thank you, Srini.
Yeah, thank you so much, Muthu, for your time, your effort, and your well-spirited, you were so active, interacted. And yes, we will get our feedback from our social media and we'll let you know of that as well. Yes, so we are moving.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, our pleasure. So we are moving on to our next topic. And the topic would be Innovation and career growth in edtech, another very important topic, I guess. We all want some career growth, but how to do it? And here comes, in the world of rapid digitization, are you ready for the future of work? EdTech, the only way out and forward. So I guess you don't want to miss this if that is the only way out. And to give this presentation, we have with us Zulfikar Essa. He is a digital leader and tech entrepreneur building an ecosystem for mobile digital leaders to better equip our youth for the unpredictable future and for the future of work. Very similar to what Let Us Talk It youth webinars are about. So we have special gratitude for that, Essa. And he also got the opportunity to represent Pakistan in the 10th annual Halt Prize in Amman, Jordan in 2018. He is an alumnus of Slippery Rock University, Pennsylvania, and was part of Global Ukrat in spring of 2018. So we can't wait to hear from you, Zulfikar, and thank you so much for joining in with us, taking out your time, and let's see what you have in for the future of our country. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much for having me. It's such a delight for me to talk about something that I actually, there's something really close to my heart. And thank you so very much, Muthu. What you said is something I cannot deny. Neither this, the world of internet can deny. What you said is the future, and what you are doing is something really incredible. And I would say that I'm really proud of you, man, for that. Adding on to that, before talking about, I guess my introduction was very overwhelming for me. Thank you so much. I guess I don't know if I deserve all of that, but yes, some way, one way or another, I guess those are some of the milestones that actually came along the way, and I had to be, part of them. I'll start off with a little bit introduction and talking about some of the basic and some of the most important things that I actually wanted to share here. And probably I'll share a small slide deck with you all as well, in like a couple of minutes. So yeah, for those who have joined quite recently, I'm Zulfikar Essa. I'm from Pakistan, the northern part of Pakistan. If you might have heard about Pakistan, you would feel like, the warm Pakistan. No, I'm not from that. I belong from the coldest region, where, the world's second highest peak actually is, and, where it's freezing cold right now. You can see my hoodie. I have put on a hoodie as well. And in winters, we actually get like a temperature of -30, -35 as well, just like, the United States and Siberia at some point. So, excuse me. The idea, initially the idea of EdTech came into my mind. I'll actually narrate a story. If anyone actually wants to ask a question, or if anyone actually wants me to elaborate something, you guys can actually, ping me. I'll stop and then I'll explain that concept to you. So yeah, it all started with 3 boys sitting in a room at one, I would say it was a rainy day, which actually, in Islamabad, the capital where I used to study in, ComSets, one of the most prestigious universities in my country. I was stuck with my friends, and that's when, it struck us that, we actually need something to do about, about educating ourselves first in the field of education, and then, inbounding that with technology. So it happened that night when 3 of friends were sitting in a room, and then, just ranting about random stuff, that they're pursuing a degree of computer science, but they do not have like a basic knowledge of that. And then when they are in the university or, in our college, they are not being able to, provide the results up to the point. So in a world of rapid advancements, belonging from one of the remotest valleys of the country, and then, adjusting with them all, and then trying to give, then trying to compete with them, can be a big dream for someone like me, or can be a dream for a lot of youth who do not have access to internet. So it happened when in 2014, when I first saw, when I first used YouTube for the first time. And quite interestingly, before that, I never used internet. That might sound silly, but yeah, that was what it was. So I would say the fascination that I actually got from using all those applications on internet like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and all that. I was lost in that world. I was like, man, what am I looking at? Look at this beautiful application, Facebook, where I can actually talk to people without actually, being physically present. And look at all this YouTube and all that. I can actually watch any movie I want, and I can actually, get to know about any sort of stuff I want to. So that is when it actually struck me that, what about those people who do not have access to internet, and then they are all of a sudden exposed to something huge and incredible like internet. So I gave it a second thought. I thought about it, and it actually struck me that, one way or another, if I'm privileged enough to get all these resources, how can I give back to my community with the people that I have with me? So me and my friends, we actually started off with a voluntary project called Empowering Young Minds. And there was the first session that we conducted in one of the remotest areas of our country. We went there and we told them about, imagine. So I'll give you a scenario that imagine there are like 100 kids, and almost 90% of those kids haven't used internet. See, and then you are someone who has been recently, exposed to all that experience in the first place, and then you have to, tell them in a way that they can understand that concept that, there's the internet, you can do all this cool stuff, there's freelancing, and then there's all that cool stuff that we do on internet, right? So yeah, it was a very, I would say, very interesting session when you were trying to tell them about something very abstract. Imagine, talking about ghosts to someone who doesn't believe in ghosts, right? It was a similar scenario. So we actually had to do that. And then we actually designed a curriculum by sitting with the team that I had. We actually gave them certain activities, and then, help them explain them that, what is a computer, what is internet, what is computer programming, and how this all connects together. And then you can create an opportunity for yourself, and later that opportunity can expand into different rounds. And then you can not only empower yourself, but you can empower all the people who are around you. So the journey started in like 2016, and with time, those voluntarily efforts were turned into a business idea. Later, when we were incubated, me and my friends, the three co-founders, along with the core team of 5, we were incubated in one of Pakistan's biggest, incubation center, based on our idea that, the ed tech is important. We showed them the importance that, there needs to be a certain, there needs to be a certain platform where, kids from from the backward areas can come, and then they can actually talk and then actually learn about something, and then express their skills, and then actually can create opportunities, right? So our journey of business started then. At that very point, I got the opportunity to visit United States for like a semester exchange program. And so that was when I actually had an opportunity to go to MIT as well. So when I went there, I actually got to see that there were small kids, wandering inside the university, and someone belonging from like Pakistan, and then going to United States, and then going to MIT, and then, seeing kids there. I was so perplexed. I thought, maybe they might be, some professors or some, faculty members' kids. Little did I know that, those were the kids who actually were on campus just to learn how to code a computer. It actually struck me harder than it should. And there was this Sri Lankan professor whom I'm really thankful to until this day, whom I had a conversation with. And I asked him that, what are these kids doing on, on this university campus? He actually walked me through this entire process of that, there were these small kids where they are being trained on different modules of, block programming. When he said block, a block came into my mind. I was like, block? What does a block programming mean? So I asked him, then he actually explained that there is a certain curriculum that they have developed for kids to understand that basics of computer programming. um, I was I was like so confused. I was like, yeah, I want to see that. And when the professor actually, took me into one of those classes, I actually got to see that, they were being taught in a way that was very interactive, relatable, and then they could have, and they can easily implement that in their lives as well. So I took that curriculum for them, and then, came back to Pakistan, and then worked with my team, and then developed our own curriculum and mapped it onto the IQ level of our own kids by using human-centered design, and then design a curriculum that they can understand. Um, well, I was so happy when when we came back and then we start implementing that. In the running a startup is just like a battle, I must say, and in third world countries it's really difficult as well. So, but there is opportunity where there is a battle. There is an opportunity, right? So that happened with us as well. We strike the right opportunity on the right time, and Techscape started operating from like one village, started off with like 5-10 students, and then alhamdulillah till now we have trained more than like 7,000 kids on the same curriculum across Pakistan, and we are among the leaders in the edtech industry now. So the point of this journey and the point of telling you all this story is that uh, once I felt empowered, and then I was perplexed, and then I thought there was a way. It couldn't have been possible without the people that I had around me. That's what I wanted to say. I worked with the like-minded people. I worked with my friends who were like-minded, and we had the same vision and same goal of empowering other people in terms of the same digital realm. If I can, I just wanted to share some quick statistics with you. I just have like a small pitch deck. Would that be fine if I can share that screen?
Yes, that will be great. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you guys have like anything to ask, you can go ahead and ask me. In the meantime, just all right. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So that's me on the screen, as you can see. That's our tagline for Techscape. Techscape, we say that, with Techscape, we want you to step into the digital future, because the future belongs to the digital world. Who better than you guys can actually relate with that, right? Basically, I'm the co-founder and chief marketing officer at Techscape, and I'm working as consultant as marketing and business development in a couple of other companies right now. Among those is Alphose, the logo that was showing before when I was joining this session. So about Alphose, it's Pakistan's biggest edtech company, and it has taken on board all the universities that are operating in the field of education. And boy, we are doing wonders here, I would say that. So a little appreciation was what actually, I would actually wanted to share with you. You might have heard about, a lot of melas. There are melas, right? And we call them here, where actually a lot of people can come in and then mingle and then, enjoy that. We just wanted to introduce the concept of, a tech mela, right? A tech mela. We call it the tech fair. And we actually initiated that with the help of you call it the United States USAID's fund. And since I'm a US alumni, so I got that. I applied for that one grant, and we actually won that. And on the basis of that, we organized the first tech fair in the region, in which it happened for the first time that in Pakistan that youth and the ones between 8 to 18 years were able to showcase their talent. That if someone has created their own mobile application, if someone has created their own website, if someone has created their own game, they were able to express those what they've learned in this tech fair. And then we have like other partners who were their business partners, who were there to support them, support their ideas, and incubate them at some point, and then put them in an accelerator at some point as well. So the problem that we actually work on is, what I actually felt was there were less interactive opportunities. See, when you hear about coding, the first thing that comes into your mind is that, that blue screen, and then, some guy with a hoodie, that geek, and then he's typing a line of codes in that. It's like that all the time. It can be fun. And this is one of the picture of youngest kid who was actually, she coded her own line following robot, and she was just, creating she was actually developing her own code for that. And then she was, so into it. I couldn't stop myself from taking a picture and then post it on the slide deck. And let me share some quick, I would say, statistics with you. According to United Nations, around 89% of the youth, is going to be from the developing world. And if you think about the opportunities that internet is going to bring into the developing world, I ask myself that, are we ready for that? Do we have like those skill set? Do we have like, those opportunities that we should create in order to, facilitate all those youth in one way or another, right? Another of my favorite statistics was shared by BBC in 2020. According to that, around 800 million jobs will be destroyed by the year 2030. 8 million jobs is a lot, right? And we are facing severe issues of joblessness right now. So what is that one thing that we need to do in order to, provide them with opportunities? The first thing that we can think of is, create tech entrepreneurs, right? The second thing we can think of is like, just go for like our job, right? But the conventional job market is going to be transformed. So what would be the best practices that we can exercise in order to create an ecosystem where everyone, if not everyone, but most of them would get an opportunity to at least make some money or do something. These are the SDGs that actually we work on with. These are the byproducts of what we do. I would say that the major, or the core, what would I say? Yeah, the mission and the vision of our company is to empower young minds. That's that. And the byproducts are providing quality education, then gender equality, and then providing them with a decent working growth environment. So the market size. See, these are the statistics. Some of these statistics might be old because I created this like a couple of months back. But around the world, these are the statistics that around 1.2 billion kids go to school. And if you said that, there are 1.2 billion people who might be striving for, a good job by the year 2025, right? And I just, narrowed it down to Pakistan that, around 5 million and more than 5 million students are, in Pakistan. And those kids need a platform, a solid platform where they can actually exercise all these. So that's when TechScape came into, and these are some of the pictures. We actually don't actually focus on coding like in a conventional way. It's like really fun. Block programming concept is being implemented there. We actually help them with, creative thinking, logic building, and then cognitive learning is also a very important part of our TechScape's mandate. And you can see all these kids, some of them are using graph paper programming concepts to better understand the concept of programming. Some of them are meditating. We actually introduced that concept as well, that, you do need to, take, some time out from, your busy routine or looking at the screen, do some yoga, develop your own robot, develop your own web application, and then towards the end, we give them with the certificate. So this is how we actually traverse into the market. We actually traverse into the market all via social media, and then we do monthly events, free events, socials. We are into it. And among our partners, our partners have been our strength so far. So we have partnered up with the biggest stakeholders that operate inside the country and in the regions that we operate. Accelerate Prosperity is the biggest accelerator that is operating in Asia. It's operating in India as well. So and then there are certain universities that we actually brought on board and then trained the faculty and then the students, and then actually gave them another perspective to look into the future of work. So these are, the people who actually run TechScape, the core team. So everyone has at least done, everyone has a bachelor's degree in computer science from the most prestigious universities. And, bringing girls into coding can be difficult at times. So I'll talk about that in the later part as well. So yeah, these are the superheroes who actually make, who actually worked on this dream to to make it a reality. So I would like to actually share about some of our statistics. In 2017 there was only one village. In 2018 there were 5 villages, and then 2019 20 plus localities, and then in 2020 we actually expanded into 3 provinces, big provinces in Pakistan. There too virtually, and some of them were actually we had to go there physically and then do our boot camps. So the goal is very simple, I would say. We just want to make TechScape a global phenomenon, see, and then empower all those people who belong to third world countries, and then give them a reason or give them a hope, so that they cannot be helpless in the rapid advancement and then the digital future that lies ahead. And how do we do that? So our secret ingredient is nothing else than our accelerated learning programs. And those accelerated learning programs are catered, designed, and devised by our very able, there are certain departments that actually work within TechScape, the development team, the training department, then there's the software department. So what actually happens is, if I would actually like to expand that, we train the kids. If we find the kids are able enough, we actually shift them to our own software development department, and then those kids, some of them are rock stars, some develop their own applications. And if I would say, there's this application called Cricinfo. One of our kids developed that, and he's like 15 years old, and that has like more than 5 million downloads on that. So I guess our success story is, I do not need to talk about that. Our success story lies in our alumni that we have trained, or alumni that have been part of us. So thank you so very much. I guess that was a little bit about TechScape. And about that, quite recently, we launched another initiative, and we call it the SheDev. So SheDev became another biggest phenomena in my region, where, in a country like Pakistan, where you want to provide someone with an opportunity, I would say that an opportunity where they can come and exercise and then actually see all those and seek all those opportunities. So that happened to be a long dream of ours. So we actually came up with SheDev. And it happened for the first time that, in Gilgit-Baltistan, the place where I belong from, more than 20 female, they actually were empowered enough and given, an opportunity where they could come and they could learn all the basic of digital skills and then implement those skills in their work, and then actually get all the opportunities that we thought that they need. And we have launched it quite recently, but we are actually aiming to expand that into different cities and later into other countries as well. So that's a small introduction, and I wouldn't say that small introduction, but that's how our journey started, and that's how I started. And then along the way, me and my friends, we came up with a couple of things, and then we actually implemented those things with the help of all the able team that we had. And now we are a family of more than 30, 35. I would say youth, And the best part about TechScape SheDev is that everyone working in TechScape is below 25, except me. I'm 25 and a half. So yeah, I guess that's that. If anyone has anything to ask me, I'm open for that. I'll share the link for TechScape and SheDev in the chat box. You guys can actually, go and see what are we doing. And if anyone is up for like any partnership, any joint venture, hit me up. I'm just one email away. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Zulfikar. That's, I think, the passion is what you said you'll be speaking about. And I guess it sounded very like your passion is what drove you to whatever you are doing. And yeah, if anybody has any question, can we ask or get more information?
Yeah, very good work, Zulfikar. Please continue your good work, and that's always good to empower more youth and make the world a more capable place, capable and collaborating place.
Yeah, I guess. Yes, the youth webinars and what I was talking in the beginning is what we are doing from our side to empower and enhance the community, the youth in particular, to hear their voice. So nice to know that you are also thinking in the same direction and not same. I mean, it's a different area altogether, but yes, those thoughts matter a lot. And thank you so much for joining in, sharing your thoughts and your achievements, and also giving your time. Yes, you are sharing some links in the chat. If anybody is interested, they can get to know more. So yeah, with this, we just want to let you know that these webinars are absolutely coined and made to for the society, for the community. So please, if you have, if you know anyone that is willing to speak, or you know a topic that you want to hear from our speakers, do let us know in our webinar at letustalkit.com email. And we will continue these webinars every Wednesday from 12 p.m. EST. And usually we have 3 speakers, and we talk about, anything that helps us, be it technical, management, health, and of course, leadership. And it's growing, people know. And if you can share the word, it will be a great help as well. And as far as the youth webinars are concerned, we will be having our youth webinar this Saturday from 4 p.m. EST. And the topic would be natural forces, disasters, and and the coming week, the younger youth group will be having a very interesting topic about inventions and discoveries. So if you have a kid and if you want them to join in, please do email us at webinar@letustalkit.com, or you can visit our website, letustalkit.com/youth, and register your kids there as well. And the prep sessions also happen every Tuesday and Thursdays at different timings. Do let us know if you are interested. We'll let you know. And thank you again, Muthu and Zulfikar, for your time and efforts. And we hope to see you again. All the attendees, thank you for joining in, and hope to see you next week as well. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.